to Billy, I'm about to fucking smack your face.
All right, go ahead.
Welcome to WWB, Worldwide Broadcast. This is episode 13, and we got some breaking news, guys. There's been a lot of new developments happening in the Discord. The Ward staff is reaching out. They have had a lot of changes, a lot of things going on. I guess we should tackle them one at a time. First, I think the biggest post that they came out with was they found another another broken infinite combo. I shouldn't say they banned it, but basically Hourglass of Time and Black Dragon, I think, is the combo that basically people were able to make an infinite loop where Black Dragon's effect allows you to skip your opponent's turn if you roll a 6, and then there was...
Hey, Harriet. I think Billy is the person that found it.
Yeah, so I'll let Billy, but hey, I was doing the big intro, so I'll let Billy fully flush it out because he likes to do that.
People is Billy.
Yeah,
that is people.
So I'll let Billy tackle the Hourglass of Time combo or whatever you want. You can name it, Billy, because it's your combo, I guess, that you found out.
No, I don't know. I mean, it's dumb, is what it is. So. The combo is actually just Hourglass Time and Visitor from Beyond. Those are the only 2 cards you need. So what it is that Black Dragon is just used as an example because it's probably like the worst offender to use it with. So like if you use Black Dragon, it's very easy to see like, no, we shouldn't have this in the game. So what it is that if you have let's say I have Black Dragon on the field and Hourglass Time in my cemetery. Very easy to get into my cemetery because I could just use Black Dragon's effect. I didn't get it. Okay, Hourglass Time, let's start the turnover. So now it's in my cemetery. Right. On my first redo turn, I just roll for Black Dragon. If I get it, huzzah, you skip your turn, whatever. If I don't get it, I play Visitor from Beyond, take Hourglass back, play Hourglass. The turn resets, which means I get Visitor from Beyond back in my hand. And so you can just do whatever you want. They'll never get a turn. You can make it worse by playing.
I think you actually do need Irresistible Love because you are skipping their turn, but when you go to attack them to deal damage, they're getting to rebuttal, correct?
Yeah, they do get to rebuttal, but I mean, you could add Irresistible Love to make it even worse. So
I just think that makes it. Yeah, I just think that makes it so. Well, I was just thinking in my head, when you're talking about the whole thing, you could do the same thing with Irresistible Love. Play Irresistible Love, and basically they roll for it, they get out of it, you Hourglass of Time, or Visitor from Beyond, Hourglass of Time, or whatever the combo is, and then, hey, roll for it again. They get it. Okay, back. Roll for it again, and then they'll just do that until you don't get it. And it's like, okay, now you can't do damage or play magic. Then you pass turn. Yeah. Next time it comes back to you, same thing. And same idea.
So if you have Black Dragon and Irresistible Love, they don't get a turn. They don't get to roll out of Irresistible because you can only roll on your opponent's turn, right?
And they can't do damage.
You can't do magic. You can't do damage. They're done playing the game. You have 3 cards, or I guess 4 technically, that cause your opponent to insta-lose. So, and in my opinion, that's stupid. That's not what Ward is.
No, my initial thought, not even with this combo, but when I first seen Hourglass of Time, I'm sure I've told you guys too, but my initial take was this card probably is just going to be super problematic in this game. We already kind of gave it the nickname the BM card, because it's kind of when you play it, it's you're just kind of messing around, oh yeah, we just did all this stuff, let's just reset everything. And obviously I know Tommy and Billy, I had to talk with you guys, and you guys well, it's still, there's uses for this card, it's good, but it's yeah, now that you were able to find ways that it's yeah, this card probably just, it has to exist in a different form than what it was in, because it was just too, in my opinion, it just had too much to it that could cause a lot of problems, I guess.
I think it was just waiting to be broken, because being able to reset your turn with no qualifiers, there's something wrong there, and I don't know what it is. It's Time Dragon Light, right? So,
well, the funny thing that you mentioned to me when we were talking about it, though, is that it's been in the game since essentially day one. So
yeah, I mean, Hourglass Time
minus the Irresistible Love, but still.
Yeah, I mean, Irresistible Love just helps. Black Dragon's been in the game since day one, so is Hourglass and Visitor, and We haven't found it till now, so the game's essentially been around for 2.5 years, and we just found a Gen 1 combo that is, like, busted.
Yeah, there's probably more things that people have found out about the game that,
Yeah. But yeah, so they brought it up. Ward staff did some playtesting themselves. Basically found, yep, this is busted beyond belief. Can't have it in the game. And then came up with a solution of we're just instead of banning the card, which might have been the initial reaction, because you can't limit it because you only need one of them to do it.
Right.
What they came up with, which I think is actually a pretty good solution, is this card can't be removed from the cemetery. It's got the same treatment as Angel or second errata Time Dragon, right? So like it's stuck in there.
How do you guys feel about that? The change. I mean, do you think that it is a good change, bad change? What's your thoughts? Maybe Tyler. What is your thought about that?
Yeah, it shouldn't be in the game.
No, but I mean the way that they've changed it to now, it doesn't leave the cemetery.
That's fine. Yeah, they found a way to make it literally fix everything in one line of text. After that, it's just fine. Works great.
Right. How do you feel, Billy, about it?
I mean, I think it's great because, no one really wants to ban any cards or put them on the limited list. So if they can come up with a solution that says there's, let's just say there's 100 ways to play Hourglass in time, and there's one instance where it breaks the game. You don't want to remove it entirely so that the other 99, instances who weren't abusing it can't play the card anymore. So if you can, and not abusing it means I'm using it, it stays in the cemetery, I'm done with it. So, and it doesn't change for the 99 people, but it eliminates the busted combo, which, I mean, that's kind of the goal, right? That's optimally what you want to do is not ban it, not limit it. Just I could add one line of text that eliminates just the broken part. I think it's great.
Right. No.
Yeah, problem solved.
Yeah, I agree. I think the way that they went about it was probably, in my opinion, like probably one of the best ways to go about it. Like you said, Billy, like they obviously probably thought about that idea, like we should just ban this, we should just get rid of this. But it's like I'm glad that they actually took that second to be like, hey, what could we just add to this to make it not do what it does? And I think they kind of did, the holy light treatment or angel or whatever you want to call it, where it's like you can't pull this creature, you can't pull this thing out of the cemetery, which I think is a good way for them to balance the game, at least. I mean, maybe in the future it might not be, but like, you know what I mean? As it stands right now, at this point, it's like having cards just have that little bit of text on there might actually just be a good fix for a lot of things that could potentially become like problematic in the game.
Oh yeah, and I think I want to also like give props to this board staff because not only did they come up with a really good solution, they also like gave a really detailed post of like, hey, this is what we're doing, and this is why we're doing it, and this is how it, changes from here on out. And it was like an explanation of, hey, we changed something in the game and we want to let you know why. So it goes a long way for me. I think it goes
a long way considering, yeah, you can think of just the podcast that we did a couple weeks back where that's what we were asking for. Just some kind of explanation of why you're doing what you're doing. And 2 weeks later, we get this. So obviously, they're listening and they're trying to respond better. And yeah, so it's good.
So A+ on all fronts, I think. So very happy with how that was handled.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. I do like the whole trend of like you were saying. It sounds like they're like taking that in consideration. It's like okay, yeah, we're listening. We're gonna send put out a statement. I guess transitioning into the next big news that they kind of posted was they did this whole tournament breakdown and kind of went through. I would say maybe in my opinion like a hard enforced rulings in tournaments, which I guess. Again, Billy, I think what we asked for was like you said, like them to like, reach out, let everybody know in the ward staff what's going on. I guess for at least the hard enforced rules that, like I said, for the tournaments, I personally, like I said, I think maybe that was a little too much. Maybe, I don't know, like I want to hear what your guys' opinion is. When I first read through those like rulings and like, they had a lot of like very specific things and targeting a lot of like, hey, we don't want cheating, which is totally agreeable. I don't want cheating. I want I want tournaments to, obviously be as well, established and whatever. Have a standardized thing to them, just so that people can know the rules. And I think it's okay for them to share them. I guess the one big takeaway I have from it though is again, it feels a little heavy-handed. It's I don't think when their whole argument or their whole motto is the game is supposed to be fun first before anything else. I'm a sweaty nerd, or I'm a sweaty competitive nerd who wants the most competitive version of this game, and I think that's what these rulings gave us. Which I'm happy that they at least made these rulings, but again, it's kind of weird when it's their focus was let's just have it be fun and enjoyable for everybody, to now it just feels like this message they sent was these are very, very stiff rules of the tournament. We are cracking down. And I guess that's kind of the thought I got from this. I'm kind of curious how you guys felt if you read through these tournament rules and kind of seen going forward what it looks like they're probably trying to do for these tournaments. Whoever wants to take it.
Yeah, yeah, sure. I'll go first. Yeah, I mean, I read through a lot of them, and there's a couple of new things in there, right? So, aside from normal tournament play that we're used to, don't slow play, don't have more than 30 cards in your deck. They added, you can cut your opponent's deck after every shuffle. I think that's a great change. They added no dice trays or ancillary equipment, which I think is really odd. They added no proxy cards or whatever. I think that was that was not really explicitly said, but it's kind of inferred right. You can only use official Ward Trading.
No, it does show that no proxies, no substitutes, fakes, no fake proxy or demo
which honestly,
cards.
It's every trading card. It's like you said, if you're in an official, you don't need anything that's just weird or wacky that could really potentially cause problems. So I totally agree with the whole proxy thing too. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's fine. And then deck checks in between every single match, which is fine. I think it's fine. It's just we haven't been doing that, right? It's just kind of at the beginning, you're good, and then that's it. And then the other thing I think they added was dice have to be checked in before playing if you want to use your own, and then if you don't, they'll just give you dice. I understand the intent. It's a little weird, but I don't know. Yeah, it just feels weird.
Well, and it's one thing, I don't know, one thing that I was just thinking of. It's a lot of these things are just nothing burgers, dice. Okay, what? I get it. You don't want weighted dice or whatever, but have we even had that happen in a tournament yet? I don't think so, because I'm sure we one of us three would have heard about that.
Or just notice
and it just
right?
takes and it starts to take a lot of when it starts to take a lot of personalization out of the game. Maybe that shouldn't be a thing, but me, I play with these little dice and a dice tray. That's how I like playing the game. And now you're saying here you can't play the game that way. Why? What is the reason for that? I don't know.
I don't get it.
And then on top of it, like Harry said at the beginning, why do we have a 92-page book of all these? Why do I have to sit here and read through a 10-minute essay of all these things? And by the way, there's literally, I mentioned this in the Discord. Certain cards will have limits due to time restraints. What does that mean?
Yeah, what does that mean?
Are you saying that certain cards are going to work differently because we don't have enough time to play that? Okay, so what the fuck is the point of having the damn card in the game then? I can't play this card at tournament because it takes too long? Why'd you design it then? No, how is that anybody's fault?
I think
that's stupid.
I think that's a fair criticism. Like you said, I got a little caught up. And they also talked about, they found this busted combo with the whole Hourglass of Time. So they also said, if there is any infinite loops that you as the players have caught, you have to announce them to us, and it's just or
we'll ban you for tournaments forever.
Yeah.
Okay,
right?
Okay, it's my bad for playing your game.
This is where I do get the very heavy-handed, but like you said, I agree with you. It's that is the thing. It would feel bad if a tournament gets ruined by something like you said. What if that Black Dragon Hourglass of Time did manage? Someone did.
Okay, yeah, I understand. like
I can get their
that,
perspective. I do agree though, like you said, Tyler, it is very heavy-handed where it's like, oh, like we are gonna like punish you for this. It's like, well, no, like I think.
Yeah, but then that's the other thing is the wording in that here. Like listen to the wording on the post here.
Yeah.
When you go down to it, it says broken combos. What is a broken combo? If a player discovers a card combination that is considered to be impossible to beat or creates an infinite loop, like what considers like being impossible to beat? If I roll a backstab, 3 backstabs, and I guarantee kill your creature, is that a guaranteed combo that's in the game? Should I not be allowed to play that because it's going to happen every time? Like, I don't know.
I get what you're.
The way that I read it, so there's 2 things here, right? The way that I read the whole like infinite broken combo thing is, I brought up Black Dragon, and like I could have just said nothing and then showed the Ward Bowl and be like,
yeah.
Right.
And
no, and I 100% agree that people shouldn't do that, but you shouldn't get banned from the tournament if you do. Like, what if it was like not Billy? What if it was some random person in the game? No one's discovered this combo for 2.5 years. What if it was some random guy? He's like, he's a really smart card, like Casey. What if it's Casey? He gets into this game. He's like, I literally have been playing cards for 30 years. I just found this broken combo, and now I want to play it at this tournament because I'm a new player, and I want to show up and make a statement. Now he shows up, and then they're like, oh yeah, by the way, because you played this, you can never come to any of our tournaments ever again. Right. Like,
well, I think
it feels pretty bad.
I agree. Yeah, I don't think. I think like Billy's kind of saying. I think they'd be a little more reasonable. But I agree with you, Tyler. The way that it's worded, it just sounds like it's like almost like it's like an enforcement of like, oh, like we don't prohibit these things. It's like, well, you're also kind of like, like you said, it's kind of like, oh, I get that feeling in my head where it's just like, geez, like you were saying, Tyler. It's like now I'm worried about like, if I potentially will get in trouble with this thing. I don't think, again, we've met the ward staff. I don't think they're going to get that. They're not going to be like kicking people out of the tournament. And again, the people that are in ward right now that are even in the tournament scene, I think they're all pretty well established, and we all have the, what do you call it? Like, they know the kinds of people we are. I just don't think we have like cheaters, and I could be wrong. But.
No. And I agree. That's the one thing I wanted to bring up. You like this like whatever rule book thing that they came out with today. It feels like it's some like after some giant like conspiracy that was happening, and they just found out that there was like 5 people like cheating to like somehow like like this isn't a game where we're winning $10,000 fucking dollars. Like some tournaments you go and you win a pack award. Like with. What like I get it, you're trying to like make it so the game stays like honest, but it's like this rules whatever you want to call it acts like all these things have happened or we've been through. I've been to almost all the tournaments. Billy's been to most. Harry's been to most. We have not had cheating. We have not had someone like. Unless people are going behind my back and being like, Tyler's fucking dice tray makes me so mad. Like, he shouldn't be able to play that. Like, what is the reason for all these things? And if you wanted to come out with this giant rule book, wait till the end of the season. Don't come out with it 2 weeks before the end of the year tournament and be like, like I literally had an awful day today because I woke up and I just read all that. And it's like, I actually just had a bad day. Like,
I'm sorry you had a bad day. Let me offer maybe a different perspective.
Yeah, give your perspective, Billy.
The way that I look at it is like, a lot of tournaments like the ward's done, like they've incrementally been doing bigger prizes. Like, yeah, it's packs, and yeah, maybe it's like a cool card, but like it's been getting like when I first played in my first tournament, like the winning like prize was like $30 in a starter pack. I'm like. I'm just playing for fun at that point, So like, it was cool.
Oh, yeah, we're in it for the love of the game,
right? But like, and now you're getting like full booster boxes, like signed, like first whatever cards, and
the War Bowl's $500 for first place
plus
prize.
2 cards plus packs. Right. Yeah, like it's a big deal, like from the growth of the game perspective, and the way that I look at it, the whole like. Rules thing is that they're saying, okay, we got one more tournament left, and we have these rules that we're going to enforce for the Reward Bowl, and we want to have a test run of it, so we're going to do it with Curious Crow, and then that way, if there's anything that like didn't make any sense or anything we need to like word, like we could do it. And also it just gets people used to like, hey, I don't think any cheating. I don't think there's any like dice manipulation. I don't think card counting. None of that. I don't think anything's happened. I think they're just like from like a proactive thing, like like it's their biggest event. They don't want people to walk in and feel like I got cheated, I got gypped, or whatever.
Yeah, but it also
if I could take over, sorry. Yeah, I'm
sure. Yeah,
I have that same kind of concept, like you said, Billy. It's like in their mind, it's like here we're starting to get official. Let's make an official rule book, like you said, Tyler. Let's make an official rule book. Let's have these rules. I do think it's good that they did this, that they did at least make rules and official things. In my opinion, it's a little heavy-handed where it's like there isn't like a hey, like we have not had any evidence of people cheating. We haven't, it's like there could have been a gentler way, I think, to like kind of get this message across. And I think maybe it was just a little too like, hey, this just feels like, hey, we feel like there is something going on, right? It's like they it's like they're almost like, very worried about like what could potentially happen at this tournament, which is fine. It's like, I get it. You're like you said, they want it to be official. They want it to be something big. They don't want some crazy annoying thing to kind of like mess it up. And I can totally understand that. But like you said, it's like you still got to think about how that messaging comes across to these people that are playing. Like you said, we're all very dedicated to the game. You're picking first off the top 20 players of the board like scene to play in this tournament. So you've already cut down the pool. And like you said, from what we've seen, it's like none of these people have ever done any of these behaviors to an extent that I feel like they deserve to be like punished for it. So like,
and if they have, they would have by now.
Well, I just think the punishment whole side of it, it's like I'm fine with you having those in your rules. Like, hey, obviously, yes, if those things are very apparent and people are just like, causing too much problem, yeah, obviously enforce your rules and enforce, you are allowed to kick whoever you want and ban and do whatever you want. But like you said, it's like, let's do that when we get to that point. How about for right now, like you said, let's just establish these rules, be like, hey, if any of these things are not abided by, there will be consequence, whatever, but you just, like I said, I think it was a little heavy-handed. I think, like you said, I think their whole messaging was just, hey, we really want this tournament to feel official. And like, I wish that was kind of the more of the lens that they pushed it through. Like, hey, Ward is starting to get to that point where like we really want to make sure there are things set in place, ready to go, like you were saying, Billy, proactively, so that we don't have bigger problems in the future, while we're trying to make this thing get bigger and bigger. So it's like, I appreciate that, but I also definitely see Tyler's perspective. I had very similar feelings where it's just like a little too much, a little too extreme, I would say, and hopefully, like you figured all that out.
And I'll say the same joke again. Why am I not allowed to use a dice rolling tray in a dice rolling card game? What is the reason? I am going to lose sleep until someone fucking tells me the reason. What is the reason? Like, if you want me to pick out the dice and show you what dice, I'll do that. If you want me to put it to the side so it's not in front of my creature, I'll do that. If you want me to ask you at the beginning of the game if it's okay if I use a dice tray, I'll do that. Right. But why are they just outright banned? Like, what the fuck? I'm literally irate. Oh, fuck.
Yeah, it's all good, brother. Like you said, I hope I hope that this will be a learning thing for them to like in the future.
But it's like, at what point are they just like, oh yeah, but if you don't bring a play mat, you can't play. If you don't bring your card sleeves, you can't play.
I understand that, and that's where we just have to try to give them, things where it's just like, hey, like obviously, like the message might have been a little more than, like.
If you guys think there's some cheating going on where I can bank the fucking double bank it off a wall and get a 6 every time, show me you can do that, and I'll believe you, because I can't.
All right, we got it. I don't think they're targeting number one Tyler, but I get what you're saying.
Okay, I hope other people play with dice trays. I hope you guys encounter that.
Yes,
in the tournaments that we play in, because I sure don't.
Okay, but the thing is, I'm pretty sure they're going to be okay when you bring your dice tray to the tournament. Just say, hey, I just like to play with the dice tray. You can give them whatever.
No, I'm not. Fucking throwing it out. I'm going to fucking send a picture of me with it on fire. I don't need this anymore.
You should get like almost like a little fence that you put up around the entire table, and then be like, ha! the whole thing is a dice tray. Let's go.
Now we're all sitting. Yeah. All right.
No, it's gonna be like that picture that Ryan said. We're all just gonna be like dancing. We're gonna be like pick up sticks. I'm gonna be like throwing dice on the ground and trying to pick them up as fast as possible.
All right,
slow play, DQ.
But please, I am dead serious. I just would like a reason. If there's some kind of reason, any reason, just please tell me what the reason is.
I'm gonna pull it back, but like I said, I'm glad again. I'm glad that they did put some kind of official statement, like Billy, like Tyler, you guys were saying about Hourglass of Time. Those things are great. At least they're giving us their opinion. Yes, maybe they're being a little heavy-handed. Okay, I understand that, and we can debate that all day long, but like I said, I would rather have them do these things where people can discuss them in our community, and like we have information coming from them where it's just like, all right, these things reassure us. These things make us know that it's like, if I come to an official tournament, the expectations are people will take this seriously, right? It's like this isn't like just a for fun thing. It's like this is a tournament. And so it's like I want to make sure there is a good separation. Because like you said, I think overall the card game should be for fun. I think this is the best TCG I've played. And so it's like I want there to still be that fun aspect. I don't want them to forget that. But I also think, just you don't, be careful about how you're, are talking to our community about how heavy-handed it's like you make these things sound. Because it's like, yeah, like Tyler's kind of point. It's like we're not really at a point in Ward where it's like, there's just like crazy money on the line, or like people are making bets on this, or what I mean? There's just like not a lot of those things going on. So it's just like, I don't think it needs to be like, let's ban these. It's like, let's not ban these people, but it's like, yeah, if somebody does something not okay, I think our community is pretty good about being like, hey, knock it off. If you're not going to knock it off, we don't need you here. But if or if you're going to follow our stuff, the things that we all expect in this community, like that's all it is at the end of the day.
Bets? Who's making bets on War? Now we bet on how many players are going to show up, but I mean, like,
we're allowed to bet. We're WWB. It's all good.
Yeah, I was just gonna say PSA to all the audience. There is no collusion going on with WWB whatsoever.
All right, get us out of the spotlight. Stop. We don't need to be put in a spotlight right now. All right. Anyway, so yeah, is there any other final thoughts on like I said, the rulings? Like I think Tyler made, he's got a very, emotional
make
take.
Dice trays great again.
Oh, okay.
That's what I have to say.
All right, yeah.
Also, I think it was kind of comical that they put something about dress code, like you can't come wearing something stupid, like inappropriate. Which is like, I get it, but like.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, have we had someone that's broken it?
Yeah, I agree, but I get the whole covering your bases, like you said. It's just they're trying to
don't come in. Make sure you have clothes on. Okay.
Yeah. Well, they're just trying to be official. You gotta at least understand, like they just are trying to be official. And like I said, it was a little heavy-handed, and yeah, we're getting a little bit jokey with it. I agree. Like I said, I applaud them. Like I said, I would rather have them communicate this. I don't want to scare them away and make them feel like they can't. It's like whatever. We just won't say anything. It's like no, I want them to have be able to talk to the community and like I said, it's okay if we react this way. It's like we're allowed to get upset or whatever, and then like I said, they'll get better at communicating in the future, I'm sure. And like you said, it'll get better and better, and hopefully we'll get this have everything set up the way that everybody kind of looks forward to and enjoys. So I'm excited. Like I said, even with all these rules, Tyler said if he really can't use a dice tray, it's not like he's not gonna be there. It's like we're all still want I want to play. You guys all want to play, and I want to.
I'll be sad, and I will definitely have less fun picking the dice up off the floor. But yes, I will roll those dice.
Yeah, exactly. But like you said, I'm glad that they have rules enforcing this.
Maybe the attire question comes from maybe you were too scary at the Halloween Ward tournament.
Yeah,
and the maniac mask.
It was too. Yeah, it was just too much.
Too much.
I was gonna say the sweatpants I wore, but
All right,
John would definitely get a kick out of that one.
Yes. Speaking of tournaments, let's jump over to that. So yeah, Lexington, we have the Curious Crow tournament, which I'm pretty sure is an official tournament. And correct me if I'm wrong.
So technically the last one.
Yeah,
before,
the final official tournament. And I don't have it pulled up right now. Is it a bracket? Is it a bracket format?
Yeah.
Yep. All right.
Standard
double elimination bracket.
I think it's basically the same thing that we played last time we were there. Just double elimination.
Yep. So that will be the final. final tournament for anyone if they're wanting to try to, like they said, boost up your rankings, get into the Ward Bowl potentially. So, I guess, going into that, like you said, we already did some bets on the last episode. Does anyone, have some thoughts with going into this tournament, like what you're expecting, like what's your thoughts? Like I said, we all kind of agree, or at least I hope it's the biggest turnout. I think people are really starting to realize, like, oh, this is for the official. This is the last time I get the chance. We have a buddy Adam. He just got into Ward a couple of weeks ago, and almost a month now, and he's really wants to get into this Ward Bowl, so he's definitely excited to go to this tournament. I mean, I'm excited to see, like I said, all the decks that are going to potentially be there. This is kind of the last test, like Billy was saying, test to see how, who's going to show up in the Ward Bowl. So it's definitely going to be pretty exciting.
Adam V, right?
Yep, Adam V.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, cool. I was looking at the distribution of total wins, the rank. The thing I post every time we have a tournament result.
Hey, look at that.
Billy's
Adam's in the chat. Adam says Steam wins next tournament. That's what Adam's in the chat watching.
Yeah, let's go. Bring that Steam Deck.
Actually, it would be kind of cool. It'd be kind of cool with Steam Deck, to be
Dude, if Steam was going to win a tournament, it was going to be the last tournament. And that was me and you.
The Untapped tournament, yeah. It got to finals. Is that the first? That's not the first finals Shark's been in, right?
Yeah, that's the first. No, we're talking about Steam.
I was talking about Steam.
That's the
Steam
first.
Got fourth.
I said if that was a tournament to win. No, I said if that's the tournament to win, like Steam would win that tournament because there's so many of them.
Yeah,
there's just a really high chance.
Yeah. Hey, don't you worry. After Ward Bowl, this will be we'll be done with season 1 of WWB.
That's the second time though. Me and Billy have freaking just went out and cooked up some meat.
Stupid. Yeah.
The first tournament we played in where we got to the finals against each other and Billy beat me. It was all shark decks.
There you go.
This tournament where Billy made it to the tournament finals and beat me. It was all metal dinos.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really, after the Ward Bowl, I really want to get the stats though from this whole season. And like I said, I'm curious with our irresponsible takes because, like you said, I remember making my take about shark decks never winning a tournament. So I'm kind of happy that it's still going strong even now. So don't worry, there'll definitely be a WWB episode that'll be going over all the stats for the season.
We did a, I mean, we kind of we talk about different people's decks as archetypes like Steam, Shark, Alkanos, Limit Summon, Undead, King, whatever.
Yeah,
but, that was just kind of what we remember and just some of the top placements. I think it'd be really cool, with the next season that every time you, enter a tournament, you have to, I'm not gonna say assign what you're doing, but give a name to your deck that would translate to what it's playing. So if you're playing Steam Creature, I'm playing a Steam deck, and then we can record that data for the next season. And see,
Adam, or even you could. I mean, even if you wanted to get a little bit more complex than that, Adam, he plays Steam Burn or Steam Counter or Steam this or Shark Shark Lockout. Shark damage, Shark Equip. You
guys kind of want to try to break up things into their own little groups. So that,
I like that. Shark range.
Yeah, I mean,
I kind of like. I personally like the natural progression of just like you said, people kind of whatever. We all just kind of agree Shark deck. I feel at this point now in the community, it's everyone just agrees we understand kind of what the perfect Shark deck is. It's obviously there's the little variations here or there, but at the end of the day, it's like you said, it's I kind of like the naturalness of it, but I do agree it would be kind of cool. A lot of these people are getting into the game, and it's just let's now try to make specific names for
well, that's where also certain spice comes out, and when you're building decks, even back when me and John ran basically the same Maniac deck. I loved All-in-One. He didn't like All-in-One. I ran All-in-One. He didn't. So our decks were probably 8 of our 10 cards in our deck were the same, but the other 6, I had Irresistible Love and All-in-One. He didn't have either of those. He had Martial Arts Man and Winter Sentinel, I think. So it's just a preference. Usually it's 5 or usually about 15 to 20 cards, I feel like, is kind of locked in a certain like archetype. Like Shark has like 15 to 20 cards that you kind of want to just always run in that deck, and then there's like 5 to 10 cards that you can, swap in cards at certain points or
I agree.
certain times.
I just think too, like Billy was saying, like with Hourglass of Time and stuff, it's like there's still tons of things too that haven't even been discovered. That it's just like you could.
Yeah.
These things are always going to be shifting and adding and putting into the game. And like in the last episode too, we talked about like, or at least I brought up my whole thought of like I love the variety of decks just in general. Like you said, we went over basically a different deck kind of wins a tournament every time, which is just like obviously we're still at a new spot in Ward where it's like the tournaments are all starting to become more like official and things, and it's just like as time goes on, it's like we will get more data and more data on like, oh, what deck is performing, what deck is higher, all these things. But it's like at this moment, I think it is still kind of like the wild, wild west of like we don't really know where everything will settle fully, and like even things like the Shark deck, it's like there's always new iterations of things that are being added to it to try to make it even more effective, like you were saying, Tyler. And like I think that will be a very interesting thing going forward to see, like tracking things.
And most people that have won tournaments, I mean, both tournaments Billy's won, he won with 2 different decks, you won with a different deck. I mean technically I won 2 of mine with the Maniac deck, so I guess I'm the one person that doesn't count.
The
but
outlier.
Yeah, but then most people, like, they usually build a deck, play it until they get a win with it. I mean, Jesse with his Undead King deck, and then move on from that and build another deck. So
yeah, like you said, unless there is just an archetype.
Is entry's immune to magic, right?
Yeah, and creature effects.
You could throw entry into like a Steam deck.
Yeah, it has the same effects of it besides the whole deal damage, double damage to weapon creatures. Anyway,
awful creature, worst creature in the game.
The one thing I was going to talk about the Curious Grow tournament is I was looking at my graph, and we've got I kind of talked about like last time, like this is going to be very like this is like the last chance. Like if you want to get to Ward Bowl, like you need to get as far as you can, and then either get in or they get right behind and hope someone up top can't make it or whatever, which I'm sure will happen. Like there's no way 20 people are going to have the same Saturday open. So, this is going to be 1 or 2 people who can't make it, right?
Yeah.
We've got, from 17 on the warrant, from 7 to 10 on Warrant Honor, and then below that. So we'll call it the bubble. We've got 5 people who have, 5 people who have 5 wins. So they're all tied. Just someone has better, less losses. And then after that, you've got 6 people who have 4 wins. So you've got essentially 11 people 3 spots that are like kind of clogged up here. And so it could make or break it, honestly. So
but then even from the bottom of the Warrant Honor to the top of the Warrant Honor, there's only like 2 or 3 wins. So like someone like that has Adam, he has 4 wins going into this tournament. If he pulls off 3 or 4 wins, he's almost in like 13th, like in the Warrant Honor.
Yeah, that's true. Like because Adam, I think. Before last
tournament, he was 0-2.
He was 0-2.
Yeah,
and then
now he's
4 wins.
4-4.
So, pretty good.
4-4.
So you've got the top of Warrant Honor is Dustin with 9 wins, and then the bottom is Joe T with 5 wins. Yeah, so there's only a 4-win difference of the entire Warrant Honor.
Yeah, which is 10 spots.
So even in this tournament, like you said, if 20 people show up, if for some reason you make a crazy run and you get like 6 wins, like you basically just put yourself at the top of the Ward of Honor, right? Like that's kind of the whole if you're at that like 4-win ratio or 3-win ratio, like you could easily.
Yeah, and honestly, if you only have 1 win or you haven't gotten any wins in the tournament, you just rip really well for some reason. Like you just hit the spice on the Steam deck and you just rip off 6 or 7 wins. Like you're in it. Like it can happen. So like it's kind of.
You want to know my goal for the end of the year is end of season?
Of course.
Make sure Shark Deck doesn't win.
That's my goal, Billy.
No, I want Shark to win.
That's my
50 goal. Total wins across the season.
What are you at now?
42.
42.
Yeah, so you'd have
42?
to with
43. I think 43 actually.
So you need 7 wins between Sunday and Ward Bowl.
Possible. No, he's saying
including Ward Bowl.
He's just saying the whole season in total. He wants 50 wins.
Yeah. So I'm saying with Ward Bowl.
Yeah, I have 2 tournaments to get 7 wins. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's possible.
It's realistic.
It's possible. Yeah. You want to
that would be
guarantee it.
success for me. I obviously want to win the Ward Bowl, but if I got over 50 wins, that would be a win for me too. That's a lot of That's a lot of wins in the season.
Yeah,
50.
It's pretty good.
It's a hard number that you'll probably have you got the record, so somebody would have to beat that. Yeah, but like you said, it just depends on tournaments and placings and how well you do. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I've been to every single tournament of the year except for the Runes and Relics tournaments. I've been to every other tournament,
and it shows in the
and the first tournament too, TeamCon.
Yeah.
So to anybody who is trying to get into the War and Honor and get paired against Tyler, no mercy. He's going for 50 wins.
You better knock him down and get him out. No,
yeah, you could. I don't want to face Adam. Adam, if you're still in here, I do not want to face you.
Without
whatsoever.
Tyler's dice tray, he's weakened. Don't worry, you can beat him in his weakened state where he's rolling.
You guys know Samson in the Bible? They basically cut my hair. By taking away my dice tray.
Oh,
so
all right,
it's over, dude. It's over.
This guy. All right,
I ain't winning another game this season.
Speaking of Bibles, at this tournament, Angel. I'm actually very curious. I want to see if there is any decks that are taking Angel and like the 3. You know, like if anyone's running 3 Angels, which I think would be pretty crazy. But like even just see if there is people now that it's off the ban list. If there's like people running 2, or just see if that card even performs. I am very curious with the cards that they've taken off the limited list. I do.
Dude, Watcher. I think Watcher's crazy, bro. I actually think it's crazy.
Well, like I said, at this tournament, I just want to see if people are willing to dip their toes back into. Like I said, I never seen Angel broken, so it's like I'm kind of curious to see like what it looks. Yeah, Billy is shaking. Whatever.
I just think it can't be broken without being able to be pulled out of the cemetery. There's no loop to be had.
Right. Well, like you said,
and on top of it, like I don't know, that's the worst thing about Angel. Okay, you sacrifice a creature and then you pull that creature out. Now you just have a 70 HP creature that's just not great.
I hear you.
Giant rat and then pull something else out.
I agree with you, Tyler. But the thing too about
Angel, then you still have a creature that's not great.
But just look at the cards like Angel. Like look at Ghost from the Past. Look at Holy Light. It's like these cards are limited for a reason. It's just like having a creature that has a very similar effect to those cards. It's like I think you can't overlook that too much because it's like you're right. In theory, it's like, yes, it is a bad creature, but the value that you can get out of that card, I think it can be quite.
But what is that value going to mean to a board of 4 Alkanos with 2 Flame of the Infinites on?
Okay, I agree. There are things that can beat it. I'm not saying it's unbeatable. I'm just saying it is still a very strong, powerful effect that can definitely give you more time in a game or like help you readjust your board again and things. So it's like I do agree with you. I'm not saying I think the way that they've changed it where it doesn't come out of the cemetery, I think definitely makes it not as great as it probably was at its peak. But like, obviously I do think it still can be a viable card to run in decks for sure. Like
my irresponsible take for the evening is that Angel's going to be a staple once the Both cards come out because you can just sack a creator with Angel, put it back if you have Ward United on the field. So then you get a 12/12 Angel that has nothing in the cemetery. That's kind of funny.
Yeah, and then you put like Foggy Night out so it stays.
Yeah.
No, like you said, I mean, I'm sure people are gonna dabble into it. We might even take.
I don't know. I do think there probably is a way to break it, but I wish you could mute my mic and I could tell you guys.
It's fine. Bring it.
Well, don't do it in a tournament.
Yeah, don't do it in an official tournament. You just have to do it at the fun one.
I mean, it would just be the stupidest thing ever. It would not really actually do anything.
Well, what is it? What's the broken angel with the 3 angels?
You can't just drop that and say, I'm not telling you.
Yeah, especially if it's not that great. Who cares?
Well, you just cycle out a bunch of creatures just over and over and over again. But you never do anything, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, but even in angels, you're still putting 70 HP. It's like you gotta be pulling out something that's giving you value. That like it's allowing you to keep pulling.
Harry, I said it doesn't do anything. you just take stuff out of the cemetery over and over and over and over again.
I just think we bring
up.
Not good. Well, I think the one thing to bring up is the whole time ruling that they kind of made, and like with in their rules. Like I said, I don't think they're gonna say Angel is breaking that time ruling, but I do think things like Angel definitely keep adding more and more time onto the game because it's just like
like how many recursions do you want? You have Holy Light, then you have Angel, then you have Ghost from the Past, then you have Frog of Fortune to get the Ghost from the Past.
Yeah.
So now you have 3, 6, 7, 8, 9 revives.
Yeah.
So now what? Is it a viable
damage?
I know, but is it a viable strategy for you to just sit there and do nothing and then just take everything out of the cemetery at the end and win?
I agree. But hey, games have been won from having effects that
that's what I'm saying. They have this time limit. How many games I've seen won in tournament by someone pulling a bunch of things out in the last turn with Holy Light and Ghost from the Past? Yeah, I think both of you guys have won a game from that.
Yeah, I have, but
I have not.
Anyway, but I agree with you. But that's kind of the point I'm making is like when games can be so decided by these effects, it's like I think that's something we really got to.
That should be a stalling penalty right there.
Yeah, or just like I don't know. That's the effect of the creature, right? But like you said, it's like do people just have an Angel in their deck and then they just?
I know, but that's why I'm always so confused about these stalling things because you inherently put these things in the game that make the game stall out longer and last longer and then say, hey, no stalling.
Well, and like I said, that's why I'm very curious. They brought it back to 3 and they think, I'm hoping the change that they made, like I said, it's still the whole keep it in the cemetery rule, but it's just like I'm curious if having 3 copies of Angel, people could, potentially have ways to bring out.
You just roll Naked Maniac, you just fucking bet on the Naked Maniac, bring him back 9 times, and pray to the Lord.
Like I said, it's just when it's
pray to the heavens.
A powerful tool in this game is to pull cards out of your cemetery to reduce your HP in your cemetery, and that's the way to win. You gotta still put some thought into hey, we want to make sure that this isn't just a different version of discard or something that can kind of just make the game not feel very great when it's just the only goal people have is let's get to 55 minutes and then my last turn I'm just gonna pull out my stuff.
Yeah,
right?
But
I don't want that.
But
you don't want
that. Let's also talk about something that we haven't even talked about on the podcast yet, just the way that the meta formed in the Untapped tournament. No one plays the game. That is the meta right now.
Right. And like you said, the last podcast we kind of covered over it, when we talked about your guys' decks and in the finals. But yeah, I think I agree. It's there's a lot of ironing out, and like you were saying, it's I'm assuming what you're bringing up or what you're preferencing is Cosmic Negation, Sounds from the Grave, Irresistible Love, Foggy Night. These cards, they do inherently we all played in that tournament. It's everybody here probably had a turn or two where they were literally locked out and couldn't do really much. But like Billy was saying, he made a very good argument last one. And he was
I lost an entire game to it, and Billy in our game, it was he couldn't play the entire game, and then I couldn't play the rest of the game.
Yeah, but like you said, there are deck building things, and yeah, it's inconvenient, but it's things like Kendo, like I said, creature effects, but that can break out of those things. But it's I agree with you. It's Sounds from the Grave maybe is the best, one to talk about. Is he shuts down the creature effects, shuts down magic. That in itself is the most oppressive card in Ward at the moment, I would call it, because it's there's really no way to play around it, in my opinion, unless you try to negate it, right? But
Mother effing Bunnysaurus, baby.
Yeah.
No, I was gonna say, I think Silence from the Grave, yes, it's oppressive, but it's also balanced because you can't just make a deck that just relies on I'm gonna play Silence from the Grave, I'm gonna play Silence from the Grave, play Silence from the Grave, I'm gonna visit from ground, play Silence from the Grave, because you run out of gas. You are consuming a card and probably a negate with it. So because when Sounds from the Grave first came out, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna lock him out the whole game. It's a 2-turn Irresistible Love, and I found out pretty quickly you can't just it consumes too much to just be a continual burn. So what it turns into is it's not a whole game lockout card. It's in a section of the game. You can pick the beginning, I'll get you at the very beginning to get a big advantage, which I don't think works very well because you're burning cards. So by the time that your lockout is done, your opponent has whole hand, like, great, and I'm gonna just revive everything and do my own. But it works better at the end of the game where it's like I need to finish it, bam, and then the waterfall over the edge, you know?
Right. Well, and the way, like, I don't know, I think Tyler was talking about in the Untapped tournament covering it, but it's just like I said, again, a big ruling that was made in that Untapped tournament is, at least that I was unaware of and that I called a ref for, was when I played Sounds from the Grave, in my mind, it's like this card should be treated like Junk Scarecrow, like these cards, because it is.
Oh, it's in the cemetery,
right?
Yeah.
It's supposed to be from the cemetery, or even though the effect's going off, this card is called Call from the Grave, or whatever from the grave. It's just like
Silence from the Grave.
Silence from the Grave. Sorry, it's like it should be in the grave.
It literally fits. It literally fits the card.
And there's just nothing. And like a lot of the other cards that they've done that like make them like field spells or like equips. It's like they should sit. They have a text that says like this is now an infinite spell or whatever.
Yeah, every single card that in the game that I checked every single card that has that symbol and it says either field or equipped. The only one that does not is backstab.
And
that is the only other one.
Love too, just because of the way it was like printed.
No, it's an infinite. Is it an
infinite? Well, if you look at the card, it doesn't have the infinite sign, but
yeah. I mean, no, backstab's a good point because
every single use. Yeah, every other single-use magic spell, except for Silence from the Grave or Backstabs, has either field or equip on it. Every single one.
Right.
I checked.
No, and that's the thing, too, is like I said. So, like, in my mind, like I said, until we got the ruling, where the ruling is now, it gets destroyed. You know, if you play Silence from the Grave and then you, like, let's say you Twister or you play something that has destruction. It destroys Silence from the Grave. And so, I guess, but in my mind, it was like, once I play this card, it should be in the cemetery because it's a standard magic. It doesn't say anything about staying on the field. So it's just an effect, kind of like I said, the way like Junk Scarecrow, the way like Mysterious Door work. Those aren't on the field while their 3-turn counters going. You can't blow them up. So it's just like I don't know. I guess it's not very well stated in that card about like.
You want to know? Oh, you want to know? It's hilarious that I just thought of with the Hourglass of Time thing. Doing it with Wrath of the Old One, so you could always get the cards that you want in your deck.
Yeah. Thanks for that tangent. You're right. That would be a good
use.
Like
the old.
You could just
because you would basically just shuffle, and then you draw your cards, and if they didn't what you liked, then you'd reset the turn, play it again, shuffle, redraw. If you didn't get,
that's.
Can still exist. It can still exist, Tyler. Well, you can't take it.
No, it exists.
That's right.
You fixed it because you can't take it from 3 turns.
Yeah, but you can technically like reset that if you want to. But
yeah, but if you have a board that's 6 cards, that's 6 cards that you get to pick out.
Back here. Back to Silence of the Grave. Like I said, I think it is still the most impressive card because of the fact that it does shut out magic, does shut out a creature effect. Like Billy said, you can really make an argument. I mean, I'm glad that they made it only 2 turn cycle. That's a whole nother topic. The fact that some things are 3 turn cycles, like Cosmic Negation, like Loving God, like Foggy Night. It's like these things. Like I'm curious what your guys' thoughts are. Like 3 turn cycles, like in a game with only 30 cards in your deck, like. I feel like 3 turn cycles can be very impactful of how much time period that is in the game award. So it's like I'm kind of curious. Like in my head, it's like should they keep continuing making like 3 turn cycle cards, or should they maybe like lower it, raise it? How do you guys feel about it, Billy?
I don't know. It depends on the card. Like I don't know. Like obviously Foggy Night or like Cosmic Negation, like 3 turn cycles is brutal for that. But if it's like something that it's like, oh, everyone gets +5/+5 for 3 turn cycles. Like, I don't know. Like, something like that's kind of irrelevant.
Right.
So, I don't know. I think it just all depends on the effect.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you either have for 1 turn cycle, for 1 turn, for 2 turn cycles, or 3 turns. And, I don't, like, yeah, there's really strong stuff, but, like, it's kind of balanced in my opinion because like the 1 turn cycle stuff like almost costs nothing but playing the card, and then the 2 like Silence from the Grave is practically the only 2 turn cycle card I can think of.
Right.
And you have to discard a card. Yeah, you have to discard a card to play it. Is it a magic card or just a regular card?
It's a magic
card.
It has to be a discard of magic.
Yeah,
card.
so it's got like yes, like you have a lot of magic cards here, but there are instances where you may not be able to play it. So it's got a good qualifier on it. And then
I just think it is curious. I think it is, sorry, not to cut you off. I think it is curious though that card they did make 2 turn cycles where it's like a lot of these other cards are 3. So it's like I'm curious if like even there maybe like, oh yeah, sometimes 3 is like too much. So like you said, it's like adjusting that like power level by the like turn cycles.
Like, I don't know because they just kind of released it or whatever and just let it happen. But my guess is that they originally had it at 3 and then said, heck no, dude. Maybe they had it at 3 and said it's free to play. And then they're like, no, this sucks. Let's add a card to it. Like, you have to discard a card. And then they play it like, no, it still sucks. Let's bring it down to 2. And then they play it and they're like, 2 feels right. Like, you consume gas to get a good effect. And if you can't, take advantage of that, then it's a disadvantage to you. So
I get where you're coming from.
Yeah.
It's like you said, it's like it's a 2 turn cycle. You have to discard something, which not a lot of cards force you to have to discard something. So it's like you are giving up a lot to get this card effect out. But again, it is very powerful. It is a very powerful effect. Like we were just bringing up Angel and Holy Light and all these things. Like, if you just hold this till the end of the game if it does come to time, then you just play Silence from the Grave on them, and it's just like, all right, pass to you. You get last turn to do whatever you're going to do before I win or lose, and now you're not able to, like, do anything to, you don't get to pull out things or do anything. It's like, I just can win off of that. So it's like...
That's a valid play, right?
Yeah,
I mean... That's how you should play the card. I think that's how the card was designed to play. Like, it's close to the end of the match, whether it's time or... cemetery HP. It's like, okay, I need one final push, and if you can't survive for 2 turn cycles, it's game.
Right.
I don't know. It's a good card.
I guess to just like wrap it all together, kind of back to like we were just saying, like in my mind, it's just like like how oppressive is, like Tyler was saying, like at the finals of that Untapped tournament, it's like either I'm shut out of my stuff or you're shut out. It's like, is that how we want Ward to feel? It's like, I come from the camp, like I said, when I remember me and Joe a while back, we had a talk about, like counter spells and like you said, like how fun is it with counter spells? And like in my personal opinion, like Hell Have No Fury is a very well designed card. I like counter spells that don't inherently just fully counter what my opponent's doing, but it also gives me value when they are doing something. I can gain value from what they're doing. I think that is like the most fun and interactive because again, I'm not just shutting my opponent out, which makes them feel like not, having a fun time with their game, but I'm also not just like fully getting like total advantage of the game. So it's like, again, like you guys were saying in the war, Untapped tournament, it's just like, is some of these cards maybe too oppressive where it's just like, it just feels like it's very like, I shut you out, you shut me out, I shut you out. Like, how do you feel about that?
Let me offer a counterpoint because, like, let's see, I don't know. Let's see. I'm trying to think. So this past Untapped tournament, like the finals, like had a bunch of those cards, but like before that, it's there, but kind of. Maniac felt really oppressive for a long time until someone found a counter. So like you let the game develop, and there are counters in the game to them. So you just gotta let people figure it out.
So
that's how
I feel like
people
Maniac's
get good,
kind of a
right?
hard one. Like you said, I don't think there was a natural counter. I think they did end up just nerfing it, which I guess I don't know. I don't know if that's like the
Scarlet's not the counter, and the nerf isn't the counter either. Because the end of the Gen 2, when you were still like you ran the multiplier deck, I ran the multiplier deck, Tyler ran the multiplier deck, and it was just inherently better.
Yeah, that's fair.
So that's my approach to it. I think there's counters. I think you just need to let it play out.
Yeah.
Tyler, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, let Tyler.
Sorry, Harry.
No, you're good. Let him get in.
Yes. I don't know. I was just thinking about like in my brain I was just thinking about if the Maniac deck would have lost the multiplier deck if it didn't have Scarlet in it.
Tyler's still just
my brain went to. I don't know. It would have been a lot closer. It was just I think the counter was myself by not putting any counters to Scarlet. So and then it got nerfed directly after that. So it was like he finally met his match, and then as he was like, "Oh, I can finally fight her," and then they're like, "No, we're taking her shit away." And it's like, fuck. Like, so that's where my brain was going. So I was a little sidetracked thinking about that.
That's funny. Well, I guess I can just like I said, in my opinion, like I'm in Billy's camp too. I do understand. It's like even things like cosmic negation and things like irresistible love. Like I said, I've come up with ways. Like I said, yes, it's creature effects, things that are not always guaranteed. I've talked to many people who play Kendo Tiger, who play Bunnysaurus, and it's like these things, even if they are counters, they're not guaranteed. What if you go first and now you play Kendo Tiger? You get no value, or you draw just Kendo. And it's like now you have to play him. It's like, yeah, it's like that does suck and that doesn't feel great, but it's like those cards, that doesn't mean they're just like not good counters to these things.
Yeah,
and sometimes if the meta becomes too oppressive with these kind of like shutdown cards, it just means, yeah, Kendo Tiger is going to have to come into the meta. You're just going to have to run it in your deck, whether you like it or not. It's like, if, okay, you don't run it, then it's like, all right, fine, don't run it. Then
find something else to beat it, you know?
Or I mean, like something else. But like I said, I'm just saying, there, like you were saying, Billy, let the natural game solve the problem rather than let's just, let's find other ways to solve it. But I was just curious because like Tyler brought up a good point with the whole, oppressive shutdown meta that we were kind of, or not meta, I hate using that word, but oppressive shutting down in the Ward Bowl or in the Untapped tournament that was happening. And it's just like, I think they definitely have their eye on it. Like they said, they seen Foggy Night. Like I know Joe was saying too at that tournament, he's just like, they didn't think Foggy Night was ever going to be played as much as it's being played, like when they made the card. And it's like, I could totally get that.
Yeah, but I think Foggy Night's like the most balanced, like, of the three cards that, like, lockout, because it's like you play that in decks that like you have equip cards, but I've played Foggy Night. I played it in my Maniac deck. There was so many times where I literally would be like, fuck, I wish I didn't have this Foggy Night out right now. Like, this really sucks. Where Silence from the Grave doesn't ever have that feeling. You play it, and then you get 2 turns of, I get to do whatever I want, and I don't have to give a fuck.
At a cost.
And Cosmic Negation, if someone's playing that against you, they're playing Creator or Perfect Shark, and they don't care about that either. So those cards are way more like, I don't know, I don't want to say broken, but they just feel a lot worse because there's not really much counterplay to them. If Billy plays Foggy Night on me, I can play Mind Sap on his
creatures, yeah.
If he plays Cosmic Negation, I can't play anything. If he plays Silence from the Grave, I can't play anything. Foggy Night, I at least have. Maybe I don't have any equipped decks, and that just sucks. But if I do, then at least I might have 3 cards in my deck I can play. So it feels a little less worse.
I don't be a broken record, but like Kendo Tiger Coast Cosmic Negation. If your Kendo Tiger died on turn 1 and they played Foggy Night,
I don't know. Maybe a hot take, but I think Kendo and fucking Bunnysaurus are garbage. I think the effects fantastic, but then you're left with a creature that does nothing, and I don't like that.
But like you said, Tyler can find other counters. But I get what you're saying. Sorry, Billy. We could let you finish because you were bringing up a good point.
I was just gonna say, like, if your Kendo Tiger died turn 1 and now you lost it, I mean, they played Foggy Night. Okay, great. I'll play Revival Priest, Kendo Tiger, break the Foggy Night. I mean, like, there's ways around these things.
Well, like you said, I think they balance Kendo Tiger and Bunnysaurus to a point where it's like these cards are very have very good utility, but like again,
they're mainly used for their ability.
Yeah, you don't want them to also be super powerful. So I think overall they balance it, but like you said. It's curious to see going into this tournament, the Curious Crow, and see if all those kind of strategies still like proceed into that tournament. And like you said, we'll kind of see who people come up with more counters and let it naturally progress. So it's like, yeah, I agree with that. Like going forward, we're still at a spot where we haven't got enough data. I would say we kind of made those arguments last time of like, oh yeah, we want to make sure there's more data points. So yeah, let's get more data and then we'll go from there. But anyway, speaking of that, we're kind of wrapping up. What's the final thoughts you guys got of anything going forward? Obviously, I know the Ward Bowl is right around the corner. We got this tournament. I'm happy to see who wins the over-under on the tournament. Hopefully 30 or more people show up. It's going to be a crazy tournament. If I show up and 30 people are at that Curious Crow tournament, man, that's going to be exciting. Biggest Ward tournament, I'll be jacked.
I think, what did I say, under 24? Is that my guess? I don't
Yeah,
remember.
you took the save. Oh my gosh, this guy. Yeah, okay, Tyler. Put away the dice tray. We get it.
I mean, shoot. Yeah, I mean,
Dude,
that's
Ryan's
hilarious.
gonna make Tyler with a head, and it's just a dice tray. That'll be the thing. Just
Flip.
dice tray, Tyler.
Yeah, man, I'm
Nice shirt,
excited.
Tyler.
I'm excited for the tournament. I mean, it'll be cool to see. You know, maybe Adam V just crushes it and wins it with the same deck, or maybe he gets another 0-2 and then he's out of the Ward Bowl. So I mean, I don't
We're so
know.
curious
He'd be
about Adam.
crushed. He'd be
Nah,
crushed.
WWB. We were on top of the untap. We got to be on top of this tournament too. Let's go. We'll stay on top.
Hell yeah.
I also think it's kind of funny, like the post for like. I'm not complaining. It's a funny note. The little post for the Curious Crow thing, it says, prize to the winner.
Hey,
Hell
we're
yeah.
here for the love of the
You
game. Who cares about that prize, Billy?
Do you get yeah, I know, but do you get like a booster
Adam
box or do you
said-
get firm handshake?
Hey, you'll
Adam said
just have
set
to
a
see.
dice tray in front of opponent and call judge.
All right. I think we got our thoughts out. Like I said, I do appreciate the whole breaking news. You know, I think going forward, they're just, you know, getting that official like way of handling tournaments is always going to be like beneficial. And like I said, at least they're being, you know, responsive to the community, giving us statements like Tyler was saying. It's good. I'm happy with that. I think you guys are also happy, like you said. Obviously, yes, we can go back and forth about how heavy-handed they might be with something, but at the end of the day, I'm happy that they're coming out with these things. But yeah, the timing is maybe a little bit weird, like you said. We just have the Warble coming up, but like Billy was saying, I think they care a lot about this. So it's like I'm glad that they're showing that they do care, and it's like, thank you. Just show us that, and that's all I really care too much about.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. And with that, I think we'll call it. That's episode 13. Thanks you guys for watching. And again, go subscribe, comment, leave all those things. You know, let us know how you feel about the hard enforced or the rules, if there is hard enforced as I say they are, or or how do you feel about Hourglass of Time getting changed? And we'd love to talk about it. So put those in the comments, and we'll see you guys next time.
Fuck you, Nell.
Peace. There it is.